Hola, mis estudiantes. We are back at it. I'm talking about el futuro, or the future tense today. One of the easiest tenses to learn in Spanish. So please make sure that you've got your notes out in front of you. And I ask that you're an active, engaged viewer as we're going over these notes today to make sure that you're comfortable or you figure out what you understand and what you don't understand. So let's get started. All right, ¿cómo se forma el futuro? Or how does one form the future tense? Well, if you'll notice, your notes are in Spanish, but I'm going to talk through these in English, so if you need to add or jot down some additional notes, I would highly recommend that you do that. So, el futuro es un tiempo que utiliza el infinitivo como parte de la raíz. So, the future is a tense that utilizes el infinitivo. What's el infinitivo? The infinitive, very good, as part of the raíz, or la raíz is the stem. So, the future tense uses the infinitive as part of this stem. So there's no dropping that AR, ER, or IR ending in the future tense. So vamos a añadir, or we're going to add los desenlaces del futuro al infinitivo a construir el tiempo futuro. So we are going to add los desenlaces, or those are the endings, of the future tense to the infinitive in order to construct our future tense. Alright, también hay solo un grupo de desenlaces en el futuro. No hay diferencias entre AR, ER y IR verbos. So, there's only one group of endings in the future tense. So we don't have any differences, we don't have any different conjugations between AR, ER, and IR verbs. There's only one set of endings, which makes it that much easier. So only one set to remember. And, drumroll please, here they are. So, as, a, hemos, es, and an. Please make note that all of those have accents except the nosotros conjugations. It's going to be very important that you remember to use those accents. Alright, so now we're going to talk about what does this mean in English. So I'm going to give you some sample sentences. You don't have a spot to jot these down on your notes, so this would be a good opportunity for you just to be an active viewer. Or if you want to maybe jot down one or two of them, you are more than welcome to do that. So las fábricas contaminarán el aire. So the factories will pollute the air. So contaminarán means will pollute. And notice, since I'm talking about las fábricas, I conjugated it in the ellos conjugation. Protegeremos el medio ambiente. We will protect the environment. So protegeremos, we will protect. And then escribirá Pedro un artículo. So will Pedro write an article? Remember, when we're asking a question, our subject, Pedro, it comes after our conjugated verb. So notice, what do all of these translations have in common? What does this mean in English? If you said the word will, you are correct, which means, again, that's indicating something that's going to take place in the future. So in Spanish, we don't have a specific word for will. That's just indicated in our conjugation in the future tense. Alright, of course, what would a new tense be without some irregulars? Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and give you this list. It's going to be very important that you guys take some time to become comfortable with these irregulars. You are going to see them again in another tense. And if you'll notice, like querer, poner, tener, decir, hacer, all of those, mostly, good majority of those, are common verbs that we use. So it's going to be important that you're comfortable with those irregulars. Now, before we move on, I do want to talk about our verb haber, which is that first one that's in a different color. It's always going to be habrá. So in that third person singular conjugation. And that means habrá means there will be. You might want to jot that down on your notes somewhere. Habrá, there will be. Alright, so here's your first opportunity to para y práctica. I've got 6 conjugations. Notice all of those are regular verbs. So I'm going to go ahead and ask that you hit pause and practice those, and I'm going to come back at you and we'll go over your answers. Alright, let's see how you did. Reutilizarán. Tú respirarás. Disminuiré. Desarrollará. Mejoraremos. And destruirías. Spanish pronunciation brain isn't very on right now. So anyway, so if you'll notice that all of those have the verb in the infinitive form, and then we just add that ending. Alright, and then I gave you a little bit longer practice with our irregulars, so I want you to go ahead and hit pause and try those 9 irregulars. If you'll notice, our irregulars still use the same endings as our regular conjugations. So go ahead and hit pause, and we'll go over those here shortly. Alright, so ellas saldrán, nosotros sabremos, notice no accent there. Vosotros podréis, yo diré, tú pondrás. A lot of my students get poner and poder, so make sure to work on that. El grupo hará, las clases vendrán, querrá, ella querrá, and yo tendré. Alright. And then our last set of practice, I just have a spot for you to put your answer. So I'm going to ask that you go ahead and complete the sentences from the verbs in the word bank. I'm not going to go over the answers in the video. We're going to go over those when we review the note. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave you here. So please make sure that you spend time doing that last más práctica so you can see where you're at with our conjugations. And making sure that you're reading through those sentences carefully. And if you have any questions, make sure you jot those down so we can go over them when you come to class. Gracias. Adios.